If you're earning 30,000 at the end of the month and you happen to pay 10,000 Kenyan shillings for your rent, then I can assure you that's a shoot on your foot. Because the percentage that you're paying to your house rent with respect to the amount of money that you're earning at the end of the month, it's over 30%. And whenever you realize that you're paying over 30% of your total salary to your rent, then I can assure you that's a shoot on the foot. Because one thing that you're supposed to understand is that whenever you're paying 10%, or rather 10,000 for your house rent and you're earning 30%, basically you're leaving 20% for other expenditures as well as savings and other things. Maybe let's say you have this aspiration of having a business or running a business in the future. So you're only left with 20% to run your day-to-day activities. That is paying the shelter, the clothing, or rather the clothing, the food, and other developments. And don't and on top of that, there is what we call the transport inside, the communication, the facilitation, right? All those conveniences that you have to pay them, you only have to budget the 20% or the 20,000, right? So this is a mistake that a lot of people tend to do, and especially those people who are employed. You find that you know very well the amount of money that you're earning at the end of the month does not allow you to live in a particular area, right? But you still drive yourself to live in that particular area because maybe let's say you love the area, or maybe you want to get look as if you're successful from the from your cohorts or from your friends, or maybe your friends are doing so. This is the thing that I always talk about, because I always say this: if you don't earn like them, then don't spend like them. All right? Because one thing that you're supposed to understand is that whenever you get yourself in that entanglement, to get yourself out of it will become very hard. Then on top of that, happen to have kid or kids that you're schooling, right? And then you're paying their school fees or something of sort. Now, getting yourself out of that and even raising just 5,000 Kenyan shillings, it becomes very hard. What you're supposed to do is this. I always advise people that every development calls for a sacrifice, even if it means you shifting from the area. But of course, you have to consider things like security or something of sort, right? I'm pretty sure there are some areas where you can get a good house and at least save yourself a couple of thousand, right? If you're earning a 30,000 salary at the end of the month, what I would advise you, or the prospected or expected amount of money that you're supposed to pay for your house rent, should not exceed 6,000. Honestly, let's be sincere. 6,000, 6,500, or let's say at most 7,000. Now there you are, you have 3,000 on top that you can be able to dedicate that amount of money to your savings, right? Let's even say that you do save 10% of your total salary at the end of the month. 10% of 30,000 is 3,000, right? So you take that 3,000 and open a circle somewhere that you'll be saving that amount of money continuously in a certain period of time, right? One advantages that I do happen or I know about circles is that once you save with them in a particular period of time, let's talk of 3 months or 4 months or something of sort, minimum is 3 months, they happen to give you a loan of almost or three times of whatever you've been saving. All right. Okay. If you're not this kind of a guy who loves loans on something of sort, you can still as well rely on your amount of money that you've saved as your own capital. So that's the thing that you find a lot of people get themselves into this entanglement. The moment you get a raise, you shift to the house that you're living in. The moment you get a raise, you raise your standards of living to a point whereby even realizing a change in income in your family, it becomes very hard. Sometimes it's not good to chase the money. What I mean by that is that the moment there is an increment in salary, then you happen to increase your expenditure. All right. What if there is an increment of your salary and then you remain constant on what you've been using before? That means you have an extra cash that you can be able to save. And by the way, I hate saving. Right? When I say save, I say for the purpose of investing. Don't just save money. Right? Once you save money, it's like the inflation is there and it kills your money, and you happen to have and it gets yourself to a point whereby that money that you've saved in a certain period of time doesn't add up. All right. So what I would advise you is this: whenever you know that you're earning that kind of a money, 30,000 is our case of study. Make sure that at least you are using or you are paying at least or at most 7,000 Kenyan shillings for your house rent. All right. But again, if you realize that you're using more than that, then I can assure you it will take a lot of time for you to develop yourself. Always have what we call the budget. All right. If you have a budget of your money, that means it is, basically the budget is telling your money where to go rather than wondering where it went. Right? Because you find people try to catch up with the money, try to ask themselves, where did my money go? Where is it? I mean, how have I been using my money or something of sort? And then here you are, even before the month's end, there you are, you're requesting for an advance or something of sort, right? So one thing that you're supposed to understand in life is that The moment you realize that you're this kind of a guy who always chases the advance on war, anything to do with that, you want an advance or something or so, that tells you there is a problem with you managing the money. Because the job that you're doing actually pays that amount of money that you're being paid. And it's expected of you that money to sustain you for 30 days, from one paycheck to the other paycheck. But again, if you realize that the money you've been paid does not meet the next paycheck, it means there is a problem. It may not be necessarily with the where you've been. It's not been necessarily with the company. It may be necessarily or mostly with you. You might be the problem, right? So it's always good to make sure that at least you have a stipulated budget. Try to stick to it. I know it becomes very hard when it comes to stick to the budget, and that's okay. That's understandable. But it's not understandable whereby you're telling me that the amount of money that you're earning. Let's take a case scenario. You're taking 30 days to earn 30,000. But then you're taking 10 days to consume the 30,000. So the math doesn't add up. Doesn't add up. All right. You're supposed to have a well stipulated schedule on how, as much as if it's taking you 30 days to make 30,000, it is indiscipline and unfortunate to take less than that to consume your money. All right. Because I always tell people how the money gets into your pocket, it's sort of a zigzag, a lot of straining downs and upwards, downwards, and something also. But how you consume the money, it's a very straight, sort of a steep curve. The money goes down, right? So it's always good to be careful on how you're consuming your money and how you're using how you're using your money and how you allocate your money in terms of the expenditure of something of sort. So if America, what I've just said is this: if you know very well that you're paying 10,000 for your house rent and you're earning 30,000, rest assured that is the genesis of your problems. And getting yourself out of that cocoon, it will take you time. Actually, I might say that that one might take a miracle for you to get yourself out of that cocoon. Leaving yourself with 20,000 to plan yourself, that will be very hard for you to make sure that at least you set aside an amount of money for savings. All right? Because what I always tell people is this: the salary that you're paid at the end of the month or at the end of the week or however you are paid, maybe it's at the end of the day, it is meant to sustain you, to make sure that you are able to come to the job the next day. These guys who employ you, they never employ you to become rich. What they do is that they just do the calculation and then they tell you that the amount of money they will give you, it's able to sustain you to make sure that at least you show up for job each and every day. So now that's called for the brains. It's called for your wisdom to make sure that at least you use that amount of money that you're being paid to only sustain you, to move you to the next level. All right? Because even if you're earning 100,000, to accumulate a million, assuming that you have all the expenditures and other bills to pay, it will take you a couple of times, or rather to take you a couple of months, if not years. All right? So anyway, guys, my name is Joseph. Talk about finance, personal development, anything related to financial advisories and business and everything. This is the home. This is the place that you should call home. All right? If you love that kind of content, then consider subscribing to my channel, and let's move to the next level and take this channel to a point whereby we can make a platform where the traders, the buyers and sellers meet and get to discuss the challenges that we face, as well as selling commodities to each other. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me what you think, because I'm a believer you get something as well, an objection, a suggestion, or an improvement that you'd like me to do. All right, guys, so see you in the next one.